We probably wouldn't either without Terry.
That's true. And look, that angle looks backwards there.
Terry, we're going to bring you in one more time. What are you seeing again?
That last shot we showed from overhead,
Yep.
It's clearly backward. Even if it was parallel, that would be considered backward. So if we look at that overhead shot again,
Yep.
he releases it, and it clearly goes backward to the point of first touching.
And that's what
and there's the recovery right there. That's in the clear and continuing action.
Can you imagine?
This is good. This is a good 2-point conversion. Yes.
Wow. Imagine this announcement. This place will go ballistic.
I mean, for what's at stake, is this the craziest 2-point conversion
ever
to
tie a game of this magnitude in the fourth quarter with 6:20 to go? So Brad Allen is the man of the moment right now and tells us.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback threw a backward pass, which was recovered in the end zone by the offense. It is a successful conversion.
That is the craziest ever.
Craziest ever.
Out, kind of taking like a bailed shot there at the refs. I mean,
what are you talking about?
You just put something on Twitter a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, so what are you asking me right now?
Are you okay?
I can't answer questions about something that I'm not aware of.
Okay, but are you okay with players kind of expressing frustration over things like that? Or is that something that you hope that they kind of keep to themselves? And
I got to have more information before I answer any of those kind of questions.
What conversations have you had with Buka about his live stream this week?
Yeah, he was very apologetic. I don't think he understood the totality of some of the things. I think he issued that apology. I know this guy's heart. And for anybody that was offended, terribly sorry about that.
this. I'm going to switch my audio over to this. Can y'all hear me now? I know the audio is probably not of the best quality because now it's coming off of this camera, not through the board. So you can hear me now. I don't know that you're going to be able to hear guests now because, again, the audio is coming from this camera that's looking at me, not through the board. So, at 4 o'clock when I bring on Smitty, at 5 o'clock when I bring on Chris, you may not be able to hear the callers, but I wanted to be able to get something on. Let me see if I don't think there's any other way that I can change this. Again, no settings were changed after Cole left yesterday, but it's not functional. So hey, you may have to turn on the radio, you may have to turn on the stream to be able to hear the caller audio in the in those segments. But all right, I'll go ahead and block this back up, and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. A lot to talk about, a lot happening out in the sports world. Let's get to them. The buzz, the Daily Wires. Memphis has just scored to make this game, well, not quite so much of a blowout. NC State, 7-5, NC State up 24-7 on Memphis. It looked like an absolute rout. There's about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter of this game. South Carolina running back Oscar Attaway III has filed criminal assault complaint against the trooper who elbow checked him in the tunnel during the Texas A&M game. We all saw it. We all remember what it looked like. The trooper clearly could have gotten out of the way, could have turned sideways to let three giant dudes wearing football shoulder pads in a place where big giant dudes wearing football shoulder pads are supposed to be. It really seemed like that officer went out of his way to make himself as wide as possible and catch a piece of those players. Just an ugly scene for the Texas A&M trooper, not for the Texas State trooper at that Texas A&M game. Oscar Attaway has retained an attorney and filed the complaint, which could lead to a possible arrest. Duke quarterback Darian Mensah has announced that he will return to Duke for the 2026 football season. That's fantastic news for the Blue Devils. He threw for 3,646 yards and 30 touchdowns this season. Not the other way around. You don't like to hear these. If you're NC State, they'll be without Hollywood Smothers next year. Running back, he plans to enter the transfer portal. He totaled 1,128 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover says that he plans to enter the transfer portal. He threw for 3,472 yards and 29 touchdowns in 2025. Maybe a candidate for South Carolina. I mean, he could be following his coordinator here and be backup in South Carolina. Don't know. I wouldn't put my money on that. Maybe another team that's more needy than South Carolina would go after Josh Hoover. Missouri's Bo Perbula announced that he'll enter the transfer portal. He plans to skip the Tigers bowl game, which would be the Gator Bowl against Virginia. In case you missed it, we talked about this yesterday. Reports now suggest that Ohio Bobcats head football coach Brian Smith, who was fired for cause by the university, was fired because of extramarital affair, plural, including at least one affair with a student. Man, that conduct unbecoming clause really will jump up and get you. Also, rolling in the hay with co-eds will get you if you're a 45-year-old football coach. Indiana has finalized a new 3-year contract with offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan. No relation to the NFL Shanahans. He has been on Kurt Cignetti's staff now at 4 different stops, including IUP, Elon, James Madison, and now at Indiana. Last night in college basketball action here in the upstate, Coastal Carolina fell on the road at App State 49-67. Furman beat Manhattan 75-68, a game that you heard right here on these airwaves last night. Alex Wilkins led the team with 18 points. Cooper Bowser with 16, Asa Thomas with 12, and Charles Johnston with 11, who also recorded 11 rebounds. So shout out to him. Double-double. 4 out of 5 starters for Furman last night ended in double figures. That's what you like to see, being able to spread the ball around and score from every position. Clemson hosts Cincinnati at 3 o'clock on Sunday. South Carolina hosts South Carolina State on Monday. Despite throwing 2 interceptions last night on Thursday Night Football, Sam Darnold and the Seahawks rallied past the Rams with a crazy reversal call of an incomplete pass that was thrown laterally, tipped in the air, and then touched in the end zone by a Seahawks player. So it turns out that the 2-point conversion was good. It sent the game into overtime. The Carolina Hurricanes will face the Florida Panthers tomorrow in a rematch of the 2025 Eastern Conference Finals. Florida won that series 4-1. Back in May. Right now, Carolina sits atop the Metropolitan Division at 22-9. And a score from earlier today. Can't believe that football games have already been played and gone final today. But the Western Michigan Broncos absolutely trounced the Kennesaw State Owls 41-6 in the Myrtle Beach Bowl on that weird Smurf turf. When we come back, let's talk with Smitty of Sports Talk Media Network. Got some big questions for him on South Carolina and Clemson, especially about Cade Klubnik's legacy. We'll get into that with Smitty next.
Game on, gloves off. We are pulling any punches.
Sometimes it's good to just hear a friendly voice on these airwaves, especially when that friendly voice is as much of an expert as our next guest is. Smitty of Sports Talk Media Network joining me right now on Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Smitty, the playoff is here. It starts tonight. Are you going to be bucking the trend? And I know it's not tonight's game because that is a monster matchup between Alabama and Oklahoma. But tomorrow, are you going to watch the Oregon JMU and the Ole Miss Tulane games wire to wire, start to finish, no matter how the game plays out? Don't you love football? Uh-huh. So what is watchable mean to you in a playoff game when everything is on the line? At what point, to Smitty, does it become unwatchable? 3 touchdowns? 4? Okay. Okay. Right. Mhm. Sure. Well, it's fascinating that, those teams have been idle now for 3 weeks. Oregon and Ole Miss, neither one of them played in a conference championship game. So they've been idle for a long time, longer than James Madison and Tulane both have, because they both played in their conference championship games. So I find, sort of that rest versus rust conversation, and especially when you put it into a pressure cooker situation like this, because neither one of them wants to be the team that legitimizes the group of 5 in the playoff by losing the game. Smitty, do you find it surprising just how fast what feels like the entirety of the college football world has turned whole hog on the group of 5? Like Nick Saban, who played at a G5 school, said it's like putting a AAA team in the World Series. Dan Orlovsky, who played at a G5 school, has said it. Sage Steele from the Air staff, Ryan Clark, one of their biggest pundits, they're all saying it. Everybody's saying it. And it feels like this is coming from the top down from ESPN. Like they've got somebody whispering in their headset, hey, bag on the G5, bag on the G5, bag on the G5, because we, ESPN, want to push them out of this thing. How do you explain that this many of the biggest pundits are all sort of echoing the exact same sentiment? as fast as they've all come around to it. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Mm-hmm. They were ranked at certain points throughout the season. Yeah. Yeah. And Tulane played, 3 or 4 power conference teams this year and won 2 of those games. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, And, Smitty, none of this was ever supposed to happen, right? Granted, we've got a small sample size. We've only got 2 years of the 12-team playoff. And last year, it was unthinkable that Boise State would be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions and get a bye. That wasn't supposed to happen. Now, it certainly made it easier when the Pac-12 dissolved and sent all their best teams over to the Big Ten. That put that conference or that team one step closer to being one of the 5 highest-ranked champions, and all they needed was somebody to slip up, like a Clemson. They needed Clemson to slip up and let Boise State jump them. That wasn't supposed to happen, and because it wasn't supposed to happen, they had to close that loophole and change the rule. Well, guess what? They set it up now that the 5 highest-ranked conference champions get in. It wasn't supposed to happen that a 5-loss Duke wins the ACC. So James Madison benefits from something that wasn't supposed to happen in the first place. It was an unforeseen consequence, yet somehow the group of 5, as quote unquote, the lower class division of the FBS, which it's not, they're going to get punished as a whole because of that. But I want to look at this now, Smitty, from a legal standpoint, because I don't remember who it was that brought this up this week. They said the only reason the group of 5 is in is because it stamps down any possible antitrust lawsuits. So if at the end of this playoff, if the group of 5, the Power 4 conferences, try to change the rule again to completely block out the group of 5, how swift, how fast will this antitrust lawsuit come down? And I mean, how will the Power 4 even win this? Because they are clearly on the wrong side of this law. Sure. Sure. Well, I look at it like the power conferences have a very limited number of choices. They can do nothing and keep grumbling about all of it, and that's cheap. That's free, right? Number 2, they could change the rules and then get sued and have to fight the Sherman Antitrust Act in a courtroom, again, which I look at it like they're on the wrong side of that law. They would be restricting trade of the group of 5 by cutting them out of the playoff entirely. Option number 3 is they could completely, fully fund a group of 5 playoff, which would have to have a tremendous financial investment and network involvement, et cetera. So the cheapest option is to just do nothing and continue on and let people grumble and be mad about it. Because guess what? People have been mad about the playoffs since day number 1. They're always going to be mad about it. You change the rules and Duke gets in and they say, well, Duke doesn't deserve to be in because the 7th best SEC team has a better chance of winning this thing than Duke does. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Mm. Well, Smitty, people have been posting brackets for a G5 playoff all over social media saying, oh, wouldn't this be great? People would tune in like crazy to watch this when 99.9% of the college football viewing world has no idea who's in the FCS playoffs right now. So why would the group of five voluntarily choose to lower itself back down into second-class status when it's clear and obvious, a terminology that we started using this year in college football, that your average power conference fan isn't even aware is going on right now? Oh, Cole is the shill for the big boys. Cole is the shill for the big boys, and I got to fight him on it every single day. Yeah. Yeah. I don't recall. I don't recall the conversation that we had about that. And it's one of those things that most people don't even know the rule, right? I mean, a lot of people still think that it's the power conference champions and one more. Smitty, is Oscar Attaway going to win this assault case if it goes to court? Do you think Oscar Attaway wins against this Texas State trooper? Because now the eyes of the country are on it. Everyone saw it. It's not like the cop can say, well, he came at me. Did you see that? Everybody can see. I don't think the good old boy system could save this cop. What do you think? Right. Yeah. Mm. Well, it's just that he announced that they're going to bring an assault case to bear, right? Again, we all watched the video of Oscar Attaway and Nick Harbor coming out of that tunnel in College Station, and the police officer elbow checking him, and he's retained legal counsel, and it looks like he could press charges. Correct. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it seems more like if Oscar Attaway chooses to continue to pursue this, it's more trying to prove a point than trying to right an egregious injustice. Because I mean, come on, he elbow checked him. He didn't send him into the wall. He didn't roll his ankle. He didn't fall down and hurt his hip. None of that happened. And it's, I guess it's possible there's more video from the tunnel. It's possible that there's a microphone in that tunnel that we haven't seen. I've just seen the video from the game, right? That's the only footage of it that I saw. Smith, go ahead. Yeah. Garrett Riley said, yeah. Garrett Riley said this week that he has no plans to leave Clemson. Does that mean you think he'll be the OC next year? Really? Sure. Yeah. Well, and think about it this way also. When Shane Beamer has struggled, how many opportunities has he been given to hire a new offensive coordinator? Garrett Riley has been there, and he has had one quarterback the entire time. And maybe it's Cade, right? Maybe Garrett Riley isn't as bad as Clemson fans want to believe that he is. Maybe it's just that Cade wasn't capable of doing what Garrett Riley wanted him to do. And he, obviously didn't have a choice to move on and bench Cade Klubnik for any other option. Maybe he needs to be granted the same grace of, hey, we'll give you 1 year with another quarterback that's not Cade and see what you can do. Because it's not like Garrett stinks, right? It's not like the offense has been absolutely putrid under Garrett Riley. Maybe it's just that Cade hit a ceiling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Smitty, I need your bowl pick to be played after Christmas Day. Yeah, an upset pick. It's okay. I've been doing it to myself all season. I've got 10.5 points in my own challenge. Gotcha. Let's see here. Let me find the beginning of this so that I can pick the right one for you. You could take Central Michigan to upset Northwestern for 10.5. You could take, let's see, East Carolina with no OC, no DC, and no quarterback to upset Pitt for 9.5 points. You could take, if you really wanted to be anti-American, you could take UConn to upset Army for 9.5. Okay. I got you, Smitty. Go ahead. Well, Smitty, if a tank rolls up to your beach house this weekend, you'll know why. Smitty, you're the best, man. I appreciate you joining us all season long. I don't know if we're going to have you on maybe one more week to wrap up bowl season, but if this is our last one, man, I can't thank you enough for every single week coming on with us. You got it. That is Matt Smith, Sports Talk Media Network. He's phenomenal. You can find Sports Talk Media Network on social media. Very, very, very plugged in outlet, and we can't thank them enough for everything that they do. When we come back, Tolos, I want to rank the 4 teams that are playing in the play-in round, the on-campus first round of the college football playoff, and try to figure out who we think are the 4 best chances. Who has the 4 best chances to go and win this whole thing? That's next. Well, Tolos, we can finally stop complaining about the possible nightmare hellscape of college football playoff games with teams that we find distasteful to have on the field, and we can debate what actually happens in these matchups because the college football playoff is here tonight. Who doesn't love this? If you can't get hyped up for Bama, Oklahoma in the college football playoff on the campus there in Norman, Oklahoma, I don't know what gets your blood going, but number 9, Alabama at number 8, Oklahoma 10-3 at 10-2. Excited for that one tomorrow. We got the other 3 first-round college football playoff games tomorrow at 12 o'clock, Miami at Texas A&M, an 11 a.m. kickoff. And, man, that is criminal to make the fine folks of Texas get up and play a football game at 11 a.m. You also at 3:30 will have Tulane, Ole Miss, and then the nightcap out west, James Madison against Oregon. But the question I have, and I want you Tolos to participate, so call in 844-326-3663. Of the teams playing in the play-in round, that would be this weekend's games, who do you think has the best chance to come out of their little side of the bracket, their corner of the bracket, and go win it all? I mean, you got to look past just the first round games. You got to look into the second round games and then what could happen after that. So here's what you're looking at. You're looking at JMU, Oregon. The winner will get Texas Tech and the eventual winner of Bama, Oklahoma, Indiana. Then you got the Bama, Oklahoma side. The winner will get Indiana in the next game and the eventual winner of JMU, Oregon, or Texas Tech. On the other side of the bracket, you got Tulane, Ole Miss. The winner gets Georgia. Congratulations. out of the frying pan into the fire. And the eventual winner of Miami, A&M, and Ohio State. And then to close it all out, you got Miami versus A&M. The winner gets Ohio State. And the eventual winner of Tulane, Ole Miss, and Georgia. So when you start looking at paths and start looking at who you think will come out of each sort of part of the bracket, each quadrant, and go to the national championship game and have a chance to win this thing, who do you think has what it takes to run that gauntlet? If I had to sort of power rank who I think has the best chances to come out of it and the pathway, I think the hardest is Oregon. I think Oregon, they'll get past James Madison. Then they got to go beat Texas Tech, a Texas Tech team that has been very, very impressive this season. They get past Texas Tech, and then, congratulations, you get the winner of Bama, Oklahoma, or Indiana. But Oregon's got its flaws, right? Oregon's got its warts. So you got to look at how good Oregon is, then you got to look at who they might have to face going forward. So that to me is the least likely, the lowest odds. Oregon, not quite the team some of these others are, even though they are very, very, very good. They got to get past Texas Tech, a team that can score a ton of points. Maybe one of the only teams outside of Indiana that can score with them and stay with them in a sheer track race kind of game. And then you might have to face Oklahoma, one of the best defenses in the country, right? If you are Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss has the third best chance to come out of its bracket, get past the other side of the bracket, and then go off and win this thing. Ole Miss, again, I don't think Tulane has a strong chance to upset them. I think it'll be a close football game, maybe a 10-point game, maybe a 2-score game. But guess what? You get past that, you got to go face Georgia, and that's really tough. Kirby Smart, with time to get healthy and then prepare, he's probably putting all of his effort into Ole Miss right now. He's not really even thinking about Tulane. So if you're Ole Miss, you got to go beat a Kirby Smart-led team that's been thinking about you for like a month, right? The winner of that one has to face the eventual – they got to beat Georgia, and then they got to go face the winner of the Miami, Texas A&M, Ohio State. None of those are particularly attractive options for how to go win a national championship. Second most likely in my mind, probably Miami. Miami, I think they're going to beat A&M straight up. So guess what? Now you're Miami with a win under your belt against a really good team, and you got to go face Ohio State and then the eventual winner of Tulane, Ole Miss, and Georgia. So now you got to get through Ohio State and Georgia if you're Miami. I mean, Carson Beck, if he's feeling himself by that point, Carson Beck could go out there and play well against Ohio State. Could do it. And to me, the most likely to come out of this play-in section of the playoff is Oklahoma to go off and win the national championship. Oklahoma beats Bama, and then they get Indiana, who just showed you that they fold when they play really strong defenses, and then they got to go face the winner of James Madison, Oregon, or Texas Tech. You tell me Oklahoma with that defense isn't probably holding an Oregon offense down? Isn't holding a Texas Tech offense down? To me, Oklahoma probably has the strongest chance. I didn't pick Oklahoma. I thought Bama would beat them. I still think Bama beats them in Norman tonight. But I think Oklahoma has the best chance once they get if they get past Bama to go off and go on a run, because then they get the opportunity to shut some teams down defensively that aren't used to playing tough defenses. It's Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Tolos 844-326-3663. Messages are coming in furious. Upset picks. We'll get to those next. Well, Dewey is nothing if not consistent. He has been rattling Madcraft's cage all season long, and Dewey is making his official prediction: Texas A&M 45, Miami 3. Dear God, Dewey, you're just trying to punish Madcraft for something at this point. Madcraft says, go practice falling down, Dewey. I'll be over there in a minute. Tolos, this is your very, 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 and when I say very, I mean very, last chance to get in picks for this season's Upset Picks Challenge, because today at 7 o'clock, this thing goes final for the season as far as picks go. You got to get in your picks today before 7 o'clock for games being played after Christmas Day. And I'm glad that the Leprechaun of Lyman texted in to ask this question. A hiddly hoo to you. He says, can I take one of the playoff games this week? No, you can't take one of the playoff games. And we had to do it this way because, we're both going, Cole and I are both out on vacation over the next 2 weeks, off and on. One of us is here, one of us is not here. We set it up so that you could pick the play-in round of the college football playoff, which last time I checked, Notre Dame is not a part of. You could have taken those as pre-Christmas bowls because all those games are going to be played before Christmas Day. We already know the matchups, and we already had spreads on those games. But you can't take the playoff games being played after Christmas, which would be the round of 8, because we don't know who those matchups are going to be yet, right? We got to wait until this weekend to know who is going to play in those games, and then we would have to wait until the following Wednesday to lock in those spreads. So, again, you cannot take the round of 8 college football playoff games because we don't know who's playing in those. By the way, live update on the score: NC State 31, Memphis 7. That was a very popular pick this week in the Upset Picks Challenge. It doesn't appear at this point that it's going to hit. Leprechaun of Lyman says, shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Well, sorry, man. If you Tolo, which means turn it on, leave it on, by the way, you would know that. You would know that you couldn't take those games. Appreciate Puppy Monkey Baby going Tulane over Ole Miss. That is a pre-Christmas bowl, Puppy Monkey Baby, so that is an invalid pick. Let's see. JWE is taking Georgia Tech plus 4.5 over BYU. Puppy Monkey Baby, I'm glad you made that mistake. And I hope that you and all the other Tolos, and there have been quite a few, looks like Percy has done this, looks like MTC Justin has done this. Some of y'all are picking bowl games that are being played pre-Christmas. There's a difference. The two words mean two different things. Pre means prior to, means before. Post means after. We're picking post-Christmas bowl games this week. So Tolo says, these are coming in fast and furious. I don't have time to go back and check to make sure that you have sent me a valid pick and pick the game after Christmas Day. So if you make that mistake, if you pick a pre-Christmas bowl this week, it's going to count as a no pick. So make sure that you are picking games that are being played after Christmas. Leprechaun says, did you see my other pick? Yes, I got you. Kane's Transplant is, Kane's Transplant, I'm glad you made the same mistake. Kane's Transplant, we are picking post-Christmas bowls this week. That game, you picked Miami over Texas A&M. That is a pre-Christmas bowl, so that is an invalid pick. Kane's Transplant, that would count as a -2 this week. You gotta pay attention to the details this week and get me a pick for a bowl game being played after Christmas. All of them have spreads up right now. You can pick any of those games that are being played after Christmas, and it is on you to make sure that you are picking a game after Christmas. Let's go to the phone lines right now. Caller, who's this? Dan, hello. What's up? Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm like the opposite of Ron Burgundy. I will copy and paste anything someone texts in, and that's what makes the list. Whatever you send in makes the list, and if it's an invalid pick, it's an invalid pick. It just is what it is. I love it. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's go off to break right now. Again, Tolo, send me your post-Christmas bowl picks for this week in the Upset Picks Challenge. But when we come back, I want to talk to a good friend of the show and a guy who is on location. He is in Oxford this weekend. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Going to talk all things college football playoff and CFB in general next. Continuing the college football playoff conversation, I go right to the guy who has been on site, on location at big-time SEC football games all season long. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered, one of the fastest-growing college football accounts and places you can get your news anywhere. Chris, thanks for joining me today. Yeah. Yeah. Well, now that you and Lane Kiffin are best buds, you have both sweated on the same floor in a hot yoga studio. Why do you think it is that Lane won't text John Summerall back and take up his offer to watch the game in the coach's box? Honestly, would you put it past Lane Kiffin to come in disguise just so that he could be there? Yeah. You're right. Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. I'll ask you the same question that I asked Smitty of Sports Talk Media Network at the 4 o'clock segment. As somebody that professes to love and enjoy Group of Five football, as you do, we've had that conversation, you and I personally. Do you find it surprising how fast, basically, the weight of the college football punditry from the top down? I'm saying Saban down to Ryan Clark, down to Dan Orlovsky, down to Sage Steele, and everybody in between has all decided all at the same time, simultaneously, to bag on the Group of Five as hard as they have. Why is everyone turned on them? How do you explain it? Yeah. So as the originator, and I'll give you credit for it, we'll put it out on these airwaves, as the originator of that idea, do you right. Do you understand the vantage point of the typical G5 fan who says that is wildly condescending to say, hey, you made your way up into this division. Now we're going to put you right back where you were. Do you understand why G5 fans feel the same way that they do, or does that go over your head? Well, so Chris, any given year, and I mean this in the most general sense, any given year in a 12-team college football playoff, how many teams in that 12-team format do you genuinely believe could go and win it all? Okay. So, yeah. So then that means there's 5 or 6 teams that are in that you think have no chance of winning it. So what's the difference between a team that you don't think can win it all with a Sun Belt patch on their jersey and one with an ACC patch on their jersey? Why is there a distinction there? Well, yeah, I'll grant you that. You know, this regular season schedule doesn't give them the opportunity to prove anything like that at all on the field. And on paper, you're right. The talent is not the same at James Madison as it is at Oregon. But hey, they did everything they were asked to do. The format is the format, and you know, I fully believe that it's going to change after this season to make sure this can't happen again. But it wasn't supposed to happen last year with Boise State getting one of those home playoff games. It wasn't supposed to happen that a second G5 would make. I think that's a bigger indictment on the bottom end of the FBS, to be honest, to say that, hey, you got every advantage laid out in front of you, and you still couldn't capitalize on it. Chris, what performance would Tulane or James Madison have to put out there to change the perception, or is it 100% a lost cause, or the Kool-Aid drinkers so far gone that nothing the Green Wave or the Dukes could do would change how people feel? Sure. Mm. Yeah, especially if you schedule it right before the transfer portal. You could have guys say, I'm on a Tulane and I could go win a G5 national championship, but I'm going to opt out because I think Florida might throw me a bag to come down there. And Chris, I don't genuinely believe that a large majority of the P4 loving world would watch it. They say they would. I think they condescend a little bit by saying, "Oh, this is a playoff thing that I would watch." But do any of those people have any clue what's going on in the FCS playoffs right now? And that to me is proof, right? I mean, you drop down an entire division. Nobody is paying attention to what's going on over there. A few hardcores are, but the majority of Bama and Georgia and Oregon fans, they don't know what's going on in the FCS playoffs. Do you? Yeah. Look at you. You know more than most. You know more than most, but you're not a casual either. You're not a casual either. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Chris, how'd you make the decision to go to Oxford and not Norman? Because Norman feels like that's where it's at tonight. So dig in a little bit deeper to that, Chris. How much does the weight of all this change and all the future change, as some of these coaches are going to be right back out the door as soon as they lose a playoff game, or if they lose a playoff game, how much does that weigh on these players? I mean, they haven't played in 3 weeks. Their head coach isn't there. The position coaches that they did get back, most of them are going to tuck tail and run to LSU. And yeah, I said that condescendingly on purpose. How much do you think that'll weigh on how this team performs? Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. I saw you post a video, I think it was earlier today, might have been yesterday, about fixing bowl season. And I wonder if we need to change bowl season to fix bowl season, or if we need to change ourselves. Because put it this way, Cole, Chris, if you're in marriage counseling with somebody, the doctor isn't going to ask you, hey, Chris, what do you dislike about your spouse? And then tell your spouse to go fix all those things to make you happy. They're going to tell you to work on yourself, and they're going to tell your spouse to work on themselves and figure out what they loved about the other person and reconnect. So I don't know if changing bowl season wholesale can fix it. If we all want to love bowl season again, I feel like we could all love bowl season again. Am I wrong? Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Sure. Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I'm going to play this audio in the next segment of our show. But Chris, I don't know if you've heard the clip of Jeff Traylor, the head coach at UTSA, asked how many guys he's going to lose in the portal. And he's like, it's probably going to be high teens, maybe 20, maybe more. And it's like, how are you even going to put a team on the field in those conditions? And it's like you're being penalized for having a good season by losing most of your players. And it's weird, Chris. I think restricting player movement is the first step in some way, restricting player movement, keeping them where they are a little bit longer or incentivizing them to stay where they are longer might be a first step in the right direction. But I don't know, man, once you've opened up that Pandora's box, how do you go back the other direction? That's fair. Chris, rapid fire picks for the college football playoff. I don't think I have to ask you about James Madison, Oregon, right? Can JMU at least cover? Okay. Let's jump to Miami, Texas A&M. And the big one tonight, it's a rematch of a game we already saw this season. Alabama coming off an embarrassing performance running the football last week or 2 weeks ago in the SEC championship game. Does Bama struggle again to roll this week? Chris, you're the best. I appreciate your time as always. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Be safe traveling around, and by God, enjoy the game. Thanks, Chris. That is Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. He is on all the major platforms. Go find him. Go follow him. They are plugged in when it comes to SEC football. On the other side of the break, I talked about that Jeff Traylor audio. Jeff Traylor, the head football coach at UTSA. Going to play audio from him. Going to play audio from Clark Lee, Nick Saban, and so many more. All that coming your way next on the Fan Upstates. Tolos, we have coaches sounding the alarm of what college football is becoming all over the sport. Somehow it seems like still there's nothing we can do about it. And I can't quite figure that out. If coaches' voices, if guys like Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Smart and others saying this sport is broken, we have to fix this, is not enough to get action underway, I don't really know what we can do. Here's a piece of audio. I teased it while talking to Chris Phillips in the last segment from the UTSA head football coach, Jeff Traylor, talking about all the opt-outs that he's got on his team for the bowl game, how he might even put together a team. You can hear the frustration, the disappointment, and the sadness in his voice about not only the fact that his team is going to be diminished in numbers, but also the ways in which the agents and the coaches who are on the other side of this thing, trying to induce his players to enter the portal, are treating his players. Listen to Jeff Traylor here. Yeah, that's the side of it that we haven't talked about. Chris alluded to it. You know, the guys that are being leveraged at the big schools to play in their bowl game, because if they don't, they won't get their last check. That's certainly something, and that is one way to keep guys on rosters at the biggest schools through the entirety of the season. But when you've got, you know, potentially the Texas A&Ms and the Ole Misses and the LSUs of the world telling a kid, hey, we're not going to give you as much money if you play in your bowl game, that puts the kid in a really hard spot. I mean, think about it. If you're a 19-year-old college, what would that be, sophomore, and you're at UTSA and your NIL checks are, and I'm just making this number up, $5,000 a month, right? $5,000 a month. And you're being induced into the transfer portal by LSU. And the guy says, well, we're going to offer you this. That's going to equate to $15,000 a month. We're going to triple what you pay, but we're going to make it more like $8,000 a month if you play in your bowl game. So it's in your financial best interest, if you want to come to LSU, for you not to play in your bowl game. And so now you got a kid saying, well, man, I could triple my money if I abandon my team quicker and don't play in a bowl. So what do? It's a really, really hard spot to be in. And those coaches, you know, a lot of them don't know who they're going to have available. And, the argument about, James Madison and Tulane shouldn't be in the playoff because it's a health and safety problem of they're going up against guys that are bigger than them. That is a health and safety problem. Having a team that is greatly diminished in its playable players because 15 or 20 of them are going off to other schools in the transfer portal. That is a health and safety problem. Over on the stream at the Fan Upstate. So management, we're not going to talk about that. Let's see. Dewey says the guys who opt out should be kicked off the team. Well, they're already leaving the team, Dewey. So you can't really kick somebody off a team that's already leaving the team. Let's see here. Let's hear from, this is an interesting piece of audio. This is Taylor Luan. I don't know how you say his name. He's one of the hosts of Bussin' with the Boys, a show I don't get a chance to listen to very often. He says that he will do something if either James Madison or Tulane win their bowl game. And tell me if you think he is as confident as he says he is in this clip, based on the way he constantly backs down what he's offering to do. He says, I'll do anything. Literally name a number. $1 million. No. He's like, $100,000. Let's split that in half. Let's make it $50,000. Come on, man. Are you willing to play the game or are you not? I'm calling him out. Me down here all the way in terrestrial radio in South Carolina, and Taylor from Bussin' with the Boys, one of the fastest growing podcasts in sports. I'm calling you out, man. You just said, I am more confident than ever that neither of these teams is going to win this game. And they might not win this game. But you can't say, I am more confident than ever, after you just said, name a number and I'll put it up. $1 million. No. $100,000. No, let's cut that in half. And I'll shave my head and pierce my nose. Come on, man. If you're that confident, put $1 million on it. You're an ex-NFL player. You got the cash. Come on, bro. Don't run away scared. Don't back away from this thing when you have the opportunity to really lay yourself out there. Let's hear from Dan Orlovsky. Good God, Dan Orlovsky, who, before we play this audio, in case you didn't know, Dan Orlovsky played his college football at UConn, a school that is now a Group of 5 school that had a really good season this year, right? And was, fairly close to being in this position that James Madison and Tulane are in right now. Let's listen to Dan Orlovsky. What are you talking about, Dan Orlovsky? These teams can't compete because players transferred away from them last year? That might be the most ass-backwards argument I've ever heard. You know why? Because elite players step up year in and year out. You're not skimming off the top. I mean, you are taking the best players and moving them up to the power conference teams. But somebody will always step in. It's like he thinks that once those players go away, the next crop, no matter how good they are going to be just slightly diminished from those players. Miss me with that, Dan Orlovsky. The G5 of today is not the same G5 of years past. Well, here's some evidence for you. The G5s nowadays are different than G5s in the past. The American Conference has more wins against the SEC in the last calendar year than Auburn, Arkansas, and South Carolina combined. The American has more SEC wins than Auburn, Arkansas, and South Carolina combined. South Florida went on the road in the swamp and won, where number 13 Texas lost. Memphis has won their last 4 straight home games against SEC teams. Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame, who reached the national championship game last year. I don't want to hear this. These teams aren't as good as they were back in the day. Look, maybe James Madison and Tulane get beat. But to me, that's the outcome of the game is irrelevant as to whether or not they should be here. The rule is the rule. They got in by the rule. The ACC sucked that allowed this whole thing to happen, and their tiebreakers didn't set it up so that Miami could slide right into that role. You're not mad at James Madison. You're not mad at Tulane. You're mad at the ACC. You're mad at Jim Phillips, okay? So stop it with that, Dan Orlovsky. Here's audio of Clark Lee, the head football coach at Vanderbilt, commenting on all this Diego Pavia mess, all this that has happened since the Heisman Trophy, since he lost and went on a tirade on social media, said, bleep the voters, family for life, went out drinking and partying in New York City for everyone to see. Here is Clark Lee's response to that. Look, I don't know that it's worth piling on Diego Pavia anymore, but what I found interesting about that piece of audio is Clark Lee said that we preach to our guys that your actions and your words have consequences. So who failed here? Did Clark Lee and staff fail at imparting the importance of that life lesson to a degree that got through to Diego Pavia? Or did Diego Pavia just fail to listen? And did he know the lesson? Did he internalize the lesson and choose to post F the voters anyway? You know, the sad thing for Diego Pavia is that sadly he might only have one more chance to fix what he did, right? To undo the damage that he did with that comment. See, I think it depends on how they perform in the bowl game and then how he communicates to the media post-game to appear to be a humble, likable guy, right? I mean, what's that old saying? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. It doesn't take a long time to break somebody's trust, but it takes a long time to earn it back. Is one more great performance and one more flawless conversation with the media after a win, is that enough to change the perception on Diego Pavia back to what it was before these moments? I don't know. I don't know that it is. Let's hear audio from Nick Saban, who says something I completely disagree with here about JMU and Tulane getting in. Nick Saban went to Kent State, by the way. Nick Saban is a G5 alum, and he's turning his back on his alma mater. I'm disappointed in you, Nicholas. I thought you knew better than this, Nicholas. I thought you had college football at all and its best interest in mind. I used to say Nick Saban would be a great commissioner, a great czar of college football. I'm not so sure. I think Nick is just a shill for ESPN now. I think he's been around Pat McAfee too long. I think he's been at ESPN too long, and that elitism has soaked into his brain. Let's hear some audio from the NFL, shall we? Here is audio from the end of last night's NFL football game. Just a phenomenal finish there in Seattle, as Seattle knocks off the LA Rams in a wild finish, a wild 2-point conversion, tipped pass, fumble, recovery in the end zone. Here is the call from that. Ball goes backwards, touched on the ground, batted up in the air, touched on the ground by a Seattle player, 2-point conversion good, sends it to overtime, and by God, the Seahawks come back to win the game. Let's hear some audio from J.C. Horn, who is a former teammate of Baker Mayfield. Obviously, when he was here in Carolina, he talks about just what kind of a trash talker Baker Mayfield can be. He's a pretty good trash talker. He'll shock you with some of the things that he says. And finally, going to wrap this one up on this one, Josh Grizzard, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on the Carolina Panthers defense and how much better it's gotten this year. Well, the Carolina Panthers have to win this weekend. They have to win again on the road at Tampa 2 weeks from now if they want to get into the NFL playoffs. Nobody thought they would be here at this time of the year, but that still doesn't make it any better. It still doesn't make it so that if they lose, I'm like, oh, ho-hum, it's no big deal. They weren't supposed to be here at all. I'll still be disappointed, and that's okay. When we come back, going to take another quick look around the sports world. Not quite a Daily Wires, but a refresh. New information coming your way next. look out, opt-outs maybe coming for the NFL at some point, but here's one player who will not. The Chiefs are eliminated from playoff contention, but Travis Kelce says, I'm still going to play in the final 3 games. Of course you are. Travis, you're a professional. You're getting paid. I mean, I guess you could. You're probably rich enough that you could walk away and eschew those final 3 game checks. But he says, quote, it's just integrity, man. I signed up to be a Chief, and I love doing what I do. I know I've been dreaming of being in these moments and playing for an NFL team since I was a kid. Getting back to that will give you more motivation than you could ever need. That's just how you need to go about work, whether you're in the playoff race or not. So there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not Travis Kelce will just go ahead and hang it up after this season. At least Travis has said, nah, man, there's no way. I am not opting out for the final 3 games of my NFL career. Though I guess you could always come back and play, right? You could always pull a Philip Rivers and wait 10 years and come back and play anyway. You'll probably still be in better shape than half of these young whippersnappers who just can't get it done anymore. Now, just go off and enjoy your rich girlfriend or your rich wife. Go be married. Go make babies and stop playing football, man. It's okay. It's not all of who you are. It's just part of who you are. Got into our daily wires earlier today. By the way, live update on what's going down in the college football games that are being played right now. Just one, as a matter of fact. The bowl game between Memphis and NC State has gotten out of hand. 31-7 is the score right now. Neither of these teams have scored in the second half. So the second half of this game has not been interesting, not been fun or worth watching. NC State put up all 31 of its points before halftime, and Memphis just not able to get off the mat and answer. Alabama, Oklahoma kicks off at 8 o'clock. I know we're all going to be glued to that one earlier today. Western Michigan absolutely blew Kennesaw State out of the water on the Smurf turf at the Myrtle Beach Bowl. 41-6 was the final score of that game. Tomorrow, a lot of football worth watching. I'm going to be glued to it no matter what. I want to see if JMU and Tulane can hang with Oregon and Ole Miss, respectively. I have a sneaking suspicion that they'll be able to, just simply for the fact that those teams are going to be a little bit rusty. We'll see. When we come back, I'll have a conversation with Smitty of Sports Talk Media Network about the college football playoff, about Garrett Riley and whether or not he'll return, and whether or not it's fair to judge Garrett Riley off of just one quarterback. We judge coaches off of one coordinator. Why do we judge a coordinator off of one quarterback? That conversation next.